me. You know, he's interested in doing this. He said he's ready to do it. So give a big round of applause for Connor, everybody.
That's in case I get in real trouble. Okay, yeah, so, like I said, this is my first time performing stand-up, and I've been a huge fan of comedy, like, my whole life, but it wasn't until this semester that I had a moment where I really wanted to do it. And it started with a pain in my left testicle. Started feeling numb, really weird. Didn't know what to do, right? And so, as a man, I shouldn't deal with that, right? I just kind of put it off. And about a week goes by, pain's not going away, so I was like, okay, I should probably be responsible. I'll look up WebMD. Responsible, yeah. So I look it up, and I go through the process. I click on the dummy on where it hurts, and I describe my symptoms, and I feel really shameful doing that. And it says, WebMD's like, oh yeah, we know what you have. You have a chemical burn. I don't think so. I'm not a chemist. I don't really do having a lot of chemical, especially naked, so I don't really know how a chemical burn would occur. And so I try it again. I click on the dummy again, go through that process, click at different symptoms. They're like, yeah, I still think it's a chemical burn. And I was like, okay, well, they don't know anything. It's on the computer. And I walk off. Week goes by, and I'm like, maybe I have a chemical burn. It's not going away. And so I do the next right thing. I just go on Google and I type in what's going on. And I see the first link says it's a men's health website, and it's describing what's going on. These guys are having the same issue. So I click on it, and I start reading all the posts, and I see that, tons of people have this, and they all say, go to the doctor right away. It's get that checked out. That's not right. Yeah, it's really funny stuff. Yeah, so I saw that, and I start kind of like freaking out. I take my phone out, and I call my dad, and I'm like, Dad, I've had this thing going on, and I don't know what to do, and I put my head down, and I may or may not have started breaking down, and I'm just sitting there with my dad on the phone, and describing what's going on, and then I look up at the screen, and I go, oh, fucking A, man. Like, I look at it, and it says, do you want to share this link to Facebook or Twitter? Like, really? My balls might fall out. You want to put this on Facebook? That's ridiculous. And that's when I realized that's how I have to be a comedian, because my most scary moment of my entire life, I realized that I have to tell jokes like that. So, yeah, that's a... But if you ask my parents if I should be a comedian, here's a few words they used to describe me on why I should not be a comedian. I told my mom and my dad that I was thinking about doing this. And they said, Connor tends to judge social situations incorrectly. Connor has a hard time with anxiety and guilt. Connor tends to think the worst of himself. And he has a hard time dealing with social situations. No, new situations, sorry. New situations. So for all the black people out in the audience, if you got this card, you would have a top 5 criteria for how to make a white person feel racist. So, if you really want to get this card, like, God forbid a black person ever asks me what time it is, because the white person asks me the time. Sorry, I'll go into that first. The white person asks me the time, I just act like I don't hear him, and I feel okay with that, I don't want to deal with them. The black person asks me what time, I start frantically searching for my wallet or my phone, and then I pull out my wallet and I just offer them money and leave. I do not know how to handle situations like being racist. Yeah. But I've actually had my roommate's been black this whole year. No, I said something wrong there. Okay, yeah, he's black. And so, one thing I've realized about having a black roommate is that I have a hard time dealing with new situations. Last one on the card. Because he's really adaptable. We've taught him how to play Settlers of Catan, one of our favorite games. He watches Tim and Eric sometimes. He's a fun guy, But when it goes the other way, when he tries to teach me new things, I fail awful, like miserably. Like, for example, we were talking one day, just me and him, and he goes, man, you know what it's like when you're with your main bitch? First off, I'm a bitch guy. I hate bitches. And if I did, I would not have a main one. I have one female, that's it, I'm a relationship guy. You love her. Man, I have never done that. I don't have a main bitch. I felt really out of place, and that's why I'm not good at new situations. Yeah. Okay, and I got a fortune cookie the other day, and the fortune said, write it down. It said, your morality will influence your generation. I was like, do you guys think that's kind of strong to give someone who can just open a cookie? That's all they do is open a cookie, and it says that will influence everyone. And so I started thinking about, what morals are they talking about for me? Maybe the moral where I turn down my video games to hear my roommates having sex? Maybe that moral? Did they talk about that one? Or the moral where you click on the video of the porn video of the women, licking a toilet seat just to see what it looks like. Maybe that moral. But I thought out of all the morals of all of them that I must influence your generation with, it was when I sold my grandpa's commemorative coin collection to buy a case of Coors Light. That's the moral that I would influence generation. Really solid generation. Yeah. Okay, this is my last one. I don't want to say that. So I worked this winter break as a delivery guy for UPS. I sat shotgun in the UPS car and I would run all the boxes to everyone's houses. And the guy I worked with was named Doug. And needless to say, we did not have a lot to talk about. Doug was like a 38-year-old guy who loved to hunt, loved to fish. He was not very subtle, and he was a borderline sex addict, so I'm starting to figure out. And I don't really have any of those traits. But so he thought the common trait for us to talk about would be women. And so we'd be driving around, and we'd see, a bunch of girls walking by, and he goes, man, those asses are tight. And I'd be like, yeah, they're cushy. Like, I don't know what to say to that. I can't elaborate. I don't talk about girls that way. I don't look, I can't elaborate on that. And then so he becomes less and less subtle with it, and so we deliver a package and he comes back and he goes, man, you should have gone to the door that I went to. And I was like, oh yeah, why's that, Doug? He goes, she was pointing at me, and I don't mean with their hands. Really got to there, Doug. And he was like, no, I mean her tits. And I was like, oh, okay. Thanks for elaborating. I didn't really understand what you were referencing there. And so, that's fair enough. He wants to talk about girls with me. He thinks I'm a guy. I'll talk about girls. And that's fine.
He's a guy.
That's not my topic. But anyway, and so the last straw, he's like, hey, Connor, check out this picture my friend sent me. Pulls out his phone, and all it says is, I had a hard time wrapping your gift. And then I scroll down, there is a morbidly obese naked girl bound and gagged with Christmas tree lights. The fuck, Doug? That's not relatable on any level. Talk about girls' boobs or butt, that's fine, but when you bound and gag a morbidly obese woman, you cannot connect it with anyone. That's why you're a truck driver. Don't know how to end it, so that was my first time, and I'm glad you guys liked it. Thank you very much.
Hey!
Connor, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, for your next